Order submitted. Order cancelled.
Karina, good morning. Sorry, I'm a little late. I went to select my stream, but I realised I hadn't set it. So I'm here now anyway. So there we go. Okay, let's see how we get on today. So good day yesterday. It was a really nice day yesterday. I had a couple of winners. There was quite a few trades yesterday. Certainly 3 I saw, which we don't often get, to be honest with you. So I was quite pleased. So let's see how we get on here. I was looking for a lower high. I was tempted to take that, but there may have been a bit of a channel up there. So there was kind of a channel with a break in a new high, possible triple test. So I thought the safer option was to wait for the lower high. And although it's probably going to work, it is a little bit congested. So I think the safer option. So I go for 3 points. I'd have to hit down here. So whether it'll get down here remains to be seen. So there could be a larger channel. In fact, I think it doesn't look too bad actually. Could be. Would I want to go long here? Tough one at the moment. I'm going to leave this one. It may work. It does look like 2 legs. The trouble is we're finding some support up here, so I think that's a little bit too earlier on in the day, because there could be something like that. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. So if we can get a lower high, I would go long there. In fact, that may come down and take that out. Trouble is I haven't got much room to the lows, or we could get a higher low and trap the short. So I've got mixed feelings about this. It's congested whichever way we look at it. So looking at book map, there's orders above it and below it. Stronger orders above it. So That is a lower high. Trouble is, it is congested. So, trouble is, I mean, the trouble is, sometimes if it's a solid enough position in a hold, I don't think that will. And it's taking a trade there when it didn't anyway, when it's congested. It's too risky going along there. And same with a short. It's congested. If you want to go short here, I think the lower high is the best option. FOMC, yeah, it is FOMC. Trouble is, you just never know, really. I mean, FOMC, I believe it's where's my thing that open? I believe it's 7 p.m. tonight, UK time. Yeah, it is. So you just don't know what sort of day it's going to be. It doesn't mean you don't get a setup. You may still get a trade or a setup. I think if you can get one trade a day, I think you're going to do really well at that. So one trade out of this whole day, there's no reason why you couldn't, just because it's FOMC day. So if you took that one, I wouldn't have got my points there at the moment. It may still go up. So it's just too early to take that long or the short. The short maybe worked if you went for a small amount. So you'd have got 2.25 out of that, or 2 points comfortably. Trouble is, you don't know whether that's going to continue down or whether it's going to bounce up and take that out. It's into support, see, so I wouldn't go long and I wouldn't just go short. There's not enough room to the EMA for me anyway, so it's just a little bit too early just to kind of figure out what to do. I would probably say that is more likely. Trouble is, whether you get 2 legs down and you go long, you're going long into support. You can see support up there, and there's some up here as well. It may push a bit higher and clear some of this, but at the moment, it's just too unclear. If that is a channel, we may push up and get a new high, but we've already tried once and twice and we couldn't get up there. Doesn't mean we won't. But for me, from my point of view, there is orders up here around about the, well, just above there. So there may be traders thinking if we get above there, I will go short, because there's certainly support right along there, or resistance or rather along there, rather. I've made my chart a little bit grey. I jumped on the chart earlier and my eyes started getting a bit funny. Like I'm getting a bit of a light migraine. My eyes are a bit patchy, so I took some tablets and had a quick half an hour sleep. So I'm hoping that's made them better. It feels okay at the moment, but I don't know whether it is because it's white, staring at white all day, or 3 or 4 hours a day is causing these sort of mild headaches and patchiness. Yeah, I think I can see it clearer when it's lighter, but staring at a white screen all day. I know there's issues with blue light. I mean, they talk about blue light, don't they? Whether it is something like that or not, you don't know, do you? You know, a lot of people have these things on the screens, don't they, where they tone down some of it. What is bad? Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? It's like anything. If you go out in the snow, you can get snow blindness. So it makes sense if you're looking at a bright colour. So I have toned mine down a bit. I've tried having it black or dark, and I don't think I feel comfortable enough watching price like that. I'm not sure whether this red is affecting me either. Where I've got the news there, I've had to make that a bit smaller. Not that it looks blurry, but you know, when something's quite bright, trouble is, you've got to look after your vision, haven't you? Especially as a trader, because if you haven't got your eyesight, you're screwed as a trader. So it is important to look after your eyesight. So I mean, it kind of looks like a bit of a bull flag, so it may still decide to shoot up. But I'm just pausing, looking for trades at the moment. I wouldn't want to take a short, and I certainly wouldn't want to take a long at the moment, but it does resemble a bit of a bull flag, so it may just decide to shoot up. So yeah, so I thought I'd just darken it a touch and see if that makes a difference. I'd like to change that red. The green looks okay, but the red just, you know, when it kind of looks a bit luminous and it's a bit in your face. Yeah, I mean, I wear glasses to drive and watch the TV a bit. I've not got terrible eyesight, but this distance for where I am now is probably my strongest. So I wear glasses for driving, for distance. You know, I can read my watch. Obviously, as you get a bit older, everything tends to, you know, your arm tends to push out a little bit more. But apart from that, my eyes aren't terrible. But I have tried sort of sitting back and see if it makes a difference. So, but I used to get migraines years ago, but I used to get them without the headache, which is the better migraines. I just used to have these patchy eyes, like, you know, if you stare at a light bulb for a bit and you get that kind of blurry, you know, things aren't clear. And sometimes as well, if I bring my finger, I couldn't see it out of my left eye until it was more or less here. They're certainly the better headaches. I used to just feel a bit sick, and my eyes used to go a bit blurred vision. But hey, Lance already outed Mac on Facebook. Not sure what you mean there. Outed Mac. Not sure what you mean there. Outed Mac on Facebook. Oh, I see what you mean. Only for reading at the moment. Yeah, I'm not too bad with reading. See, I don't read a huge amount. I like audiobooks, I do. So when I go to bed at night, sometimes I'll throw some earbuds on and listen to an audiobook. So, but I'm not too bad with reading. Trouble is that red colour is quite bright, isn't it? The more I look at it, the more it's a... Trouble is, what colour do you change it to? Just wouldn't look right any other colour. Let's go a bit darker, see if that helps. That actually looks a bit... Well, that's less in your face, but is that a bit weird? I don't suppose it really makes a difference, does it? I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with it, I think. See if I can find something that's comfortable. Okay, so not much we can really do at the moment. It does kind of resemble a bull flag, and we've had a little drop out the bottom of it, so it may decide to push up. But at the moment, it's just chopping sideways. I mean, who knows? We have got FOMC later, so whether that makes a huge difference or not, I don't know. We've definitely got some support up here where we do seem to be turning down from. We haven't quite got up there as of yet. We've got close to it, and it is pulling back a bit. So there was a lot of orders sat up here, kind of 42 and a sort of 72 and above. And as this is coming down, a lot of these have been yanked. Yeah, I'm going to have a play around with these colours, see if I can find something that makes this, that red doesn't make my eyes feel relaxed for some reason. Am I moaning a bit much, Karina? Am I? You're going to have to tell me. You're going to have to give me a slap if I keep moaning. I might be having one of those days. So, looks like a channel with an overshoot. Kind of resembles a bull flag. Is this thing going to decide to push up? Who knows? Yes, I haven't seen a chart from Daniel yet, but this is today, isn't it? So this is what we got from Thomas Wade at the moment, which is pretty close to what I've got, really. That's almost identical, actually. Little channel down here with a bit of an overshoot. He's registering that as an overshoot, so hence the push up. So whether we're just going to test this or whether this thing is going to push up, make a couple of legs down and then push above all this. Who knows? It doesn't really look like an overshoot on that chart. Okay, so let's see how high this thing gets. 1, 2, 3. See if we find some resistance up here. So overnight highs. Okay, so there is a possible second entry short here. No, it's no good. It's a doji anyway. I want a little bit more than that, really, confirming that there's a top here, because I don't think there is. It's had a strong push up. We're not far away. We're a couple of points away from all-time highs, so as I say, that kind of resembled the bull flag, so I'd expect that to at least break that all-time high, overnight highs, 74.50 at the moment. So there is orders at 75 and 76.25, which is up here. And those 76.25 would clear that area there, possibly there as well. So if there is shorting up here, they may want a short above there, which is 76.25, which is those orders I can see. So okay, we've hit overnight highs. So let's see if that area gets hit that I've marked there. So if we can push it up and get a nice big bearish bar there, that will be 2 legs in a second entry short. That is making my head fuzzy. Let's change that colour to something a bit different. Purple. What's that like? That's better. That's much better. So let's save that. Yeah, these kind of luminous colours are just affecting my eyesight a bit. Green's fine, blue's fine, it's just the red. That's much better. So, not yesterday's highs, but certainly there's a couple of bounces here. Now, would I want to short there, that close to there? It's a tough one because it may trigger push up, take out this level and come down. I would much prefer 2 little measured legs here, unless we get a lower high. That is the type of trade I've seen Dan take. The trouble is, he tends to go with those. I mean, there's a nice big bearish bar there. It's very tempting, that is. It's very tempting. Channel break, new high, big bearish bar. Let's see how that finishes. It hasn't finished good enough for me. Isacan, how you doing, buddy? It's not quite bearish enough for me. Well, I don't think you'd have got in there anyway, to be fair, unless you dropped an order. See, I'd have waited for it to close too late. If you dropped a market order in there, you'd have been in and out that in a second. If it was a little bit more bearish, if we didn't have that stem, I'd have had a go there. But to be honest with you, if you'd have waited there with a limit order, and I use limit orders because I find them that you got more likely picked up, you wouldn't have got in there. If you'd have put a market order below there, that would have worked. Yeah. And we had a quick drop, so channel break, 2 pushes to a new high, clearing the overnight highs. There is still orders. There is still some orders up there. So, but with that big push down, we could come back into the kind of meat of the range. Does look kind of rangy. Well, we're certainly laying range tops down. There's no argument there. You can clearly see that, can't you? I'd have just preferred. I like to clear certain amounts of liquidity before I take a trade like that. That to me is kind of picking a top. Now, it may sound a bit odd on a range day because that's kind of what we do, but I always like to clear liquidity. Now, we've cleared these 2 levels of liquidity, and not quite that one. We've bounced off there. So with this big leg down and 2 legs up and 2 kind of bounces, there may be traders selling this area for possibly a second leg down. So I always prefer to clear these levels before I then have the confidence to go in, because a lot of the times, as we know, price will clear liquidity before it This one here, my Top Gun shit. Yeah, I had this issued to me when I was a pilot. No, I didn't. Top Gun. It's my Top Gun. Yeah. I feel like I'm on my game when I'm wearing this. So, oh, that reminds me, I've had another parcel. Expensive parcels. £2,000 worth of parcels. I think this is my graphics card, yeah. I've just got more bits coming today. I've got the RAM coming today. I've got my liquid cooling system coming today. And I've got my hard drive coming today. So yeah, RTX 5070 in white. I'm going for the white look, all white. So it's got 4 slots, 3. It's got 1 HDMI and 3. What do you call it? I can't think what they're called. Blank. DisplayPort. Yeah. So you know, I'm shocked at the price of the. Shocked at the price. Yeah, they must make an absolute fortune off these. I mean, that is light as a feather. I mean, literally, it's light as a feather. It weighs less than a cheap mouse, and that was £600. They must make a lot of money. And bearing in mind, the box is about 10 times the size of the chip is only kind of well the size of that. I can't believe how much you pay for those. £599. So £600 there, 7, 8. There's just shy of $800 in that one little box. And if I took that out, obviously you guys know the size of a chip, they're tiny, something like that. But so I've got more bits coming today. The water cooling system and the RAM and the hard drive, the SSD, the stick NVMe, whatever they're called. And I've got the box coming on, or the case coming on Friday, so I can give me something to get me teeth into over the weekend. And then obviously I've got to try and get all the software over. So what I'm going to do is I'll keep this running until I get everything on there, but I'm going to download everything fresh NinjaTrader, fresh Rhythmic. I'm going to see if I can get Rhythmic running. And then I'm going to just sort of memory stick over the various bits of software. I've got to get Replicanto on there, make sure everything's working, and then I can swap over then. And then I have got a backup. I'll keep that old computer, though I say old. It's still relatively quick, but I'll keep that as a backup. Yeah, £2,000 it's cost me, all bar £50. But this should future-proof me, I'd say, for 5 years now. God, I must make a fortune off these computer components. Big business, isn't it? Especially with gamers out there. Gaming's a massive market. I hate to think how much the gaming industry is worth. Billions, without a doubt. So let me just have a look at this. I'm going to keep that like that, I think. That's how Dan tends to draw them tight. Thomas Wade opens them up, mind you, saying that. Dan's just put that there, but he has got a small break. Yeah, so I hope everyone else had a good day yesterday. How you doing, Jay? It's all right, I did say hello to you. I hope everyone... It was a nice day yesterday. I actually, just for once, I saw some really good quality setups, which we don't get a lot of, to be honest with you. Let's have a look. So, Mac didn't have this. No, sorry, he had that. He didn't have this. But to be honest with you, those two there, two great trades, really quick succession as well. Two beautiful legs up nicely there, and then obviously there as well. So it's it's quite rare you get setups that clear, that close together. Same again there, another one. Two legs up. I think I left the third one. I thought two in a row is quite rare for me. So same again, another really clear trade. We do seem to be coming down there. Both worked for plenty. This is my second chart, this, bud. The one with the deselected break at end of day. So it didn't look as good. Some of the charts looked better. That's interesting. Channel break, new low. I'd expect that to come back to the EMA after it's cleared that. For sure. I'd be surprised if Dan doesn't take that. It's too big for me. It's massive. So I'm going to leave that one. So, yeah, there was that one. That was the... So that's that one. Is it? Tell a lie. That one there is this one here. So the second chart there, beautiful setup. We didn't get it there, so Dan never marked it. That one Dan marked. Looked even better there on this side. And then that one as well. I left that one. There was a bit of a stem. We'd had this kind of break, so I left that one. But Mac marked it. So it's not often you get setups like that good, that close together. So when I'd taken two of them, I kind of thought it was a bit too good to be true. So I thought I'm quite happy just sticking with the one, with the two, and not taking any more. So. It is as good as it gets, mate. Yeah, and when you get two of them and you see another one, and you're thinking, no, something's not right here. I start to have trust issues. But I'm happy to two. I rarely, I'd say probably twice a month, I'd get two trades in a day. I'm more than happy with one, to be honest with you. You can make plenty of money with one trade a day. And I kind of wait for super setups, but we rarely get them that close together. But you've just got to capitalise. So I could have taken a third one, but there's nothing worse. I would prefer to lose a trade straight off than win a trade and give it back. On that first chart, those were third entries. Matt's called them. So yeah, they were third entries, but like I said quite a few times now, I tend to not count anymore. I want it to look right. And although, yeah, by the count it was third entries, you can clearly see two legs. So on a bigger chart, it would just, you'd get rid of the noise and you wouldn't get that third entry. So I just think about what it looks like now. I'm not interested by the count. And I think that's where Mac went from taking second entries to what he now calls hidden second entries. You've got the same setup, but without the actual count. But it's more important what it looks like and what the context is right, rather than the count as such. I know when we kind of first learned to trade, it's more about the count. But you're in trading a while, you're looking for the move, really, aren't you? Was it that one there? Yeah, so that one there. So yeah, you can see the difference there, can't you? But we've got a leg up with a pullback and a leg up. So yeah, technically it's a third entry, but we've still got the two legs up, and that's what you're kind of looking for, isn't it? You know that anyway, don't you? But yeah, that's where the kind of hidden. I wonder if we can come up with a hidden failure. That's probably. Yeah, it's more about how it looks rather than does it sort of count right. The count really is a kind of a guidance, isn't it? It doesn't mean you don't take a trade. It just means you kind of it's a rough kind of guidance, isn't it? But yeah, I was amazed to see them two trades that good close together. You rarely see one that good by itself, let alone having one 5 minutes later. Disco, how you doing, buddy? So it was a great day for me. Yes, I did about $3,000 overall, so I was pleased with that. So fingers crossed, if things keep going like that, I should be getting a payout in about 3 to 4 weeks, and hopefully I can sustain that then. See, the bit that I found challenging with prop firms, now prop firms are great. They give people, because who's got $10,000, $15,000 sat around doing nothing? Not much. I certainly haven't. So not everybody's got the money to put into account. Let's face it, you need money to make money trading. So prop firms are great because they give you access to sort of capital without having to physically put that amount of capital in. The downside is when you get a PA account, you're starting on zero. So you've got nothing to lose really, and the tendency is when things go wrong is to move your stop or take a risk because you think, well, I haven't made anything. I'm not really risking anything. You're risking the price of the evaluation and the price of the PA fee. Let's call it a total of $175. It's not a huge amount, but it's a lot less than if you had $2,500 of your own money. So when you haven't got nothing to lose, the tendency is to take a risk. And I did it. I spent so long doing it, and I tried to rush it. And ideally, what you got to do is slowly build that zero into something. And once you, like now, a lot of my accounts now, all my accounts now are between $1,500 and $2,000, and it's taken me 3 to 4 weeks to get to that level. So you've got that period where you've got to slowly build up. Once you can get them, and I think around about 3,000 and above, that's when you can start to take regular small amounts. So you take 500, 1,000, you've got the next month to make that back so you can withdraw it again. And I did that, and I had 5 monthly payments in a row of about total of about 9 accounts. And then something went wrong. I had a bad day, a little bit of a wobble, and I made the fatal error of moving my stop. And I remember clearly moving it, and my 275 risk went to 450. And then when you see you're going to lose 450, you panic some more. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, bud? And you move it again, and before you know it, you're $600, you're $800 in, and you do not want to give that away. So you hold on. You move your stop a bit more, and one thing leads to another. You either get lucky or you blow your accounts. And then I had to start again. And I probably went the next 2 weeks getting accounts, blowing them, getting accounts purely out of frustration. And then I hit that level, whereas I've just got to play the game. I've just got to take the time and build it up. And that's why I kind of never got a payment for a month and a half, 2 months. But once you've got some capital in there, you've got to really protect it, and that will give you that continuous small amount per month. I've watched that, is it Roderick Haskell guy a couple of times. Now, I've got 2 schools of thought with him. I think sometimes the way he talks to people is a little bit rude. I think he comes over a bit rude, but his trading principles, I think, are good. I think he said he had about 30 different prop accounts, and he trades micros. I think he trades NQ anyway, so it's a little bit more there. So I think he trades 2 to 3 micros, and his policy is large amount of accounts, small amount of profit from each, and I think he said he averages $20,000 to $30,000. So he's got good principles when it comes to. He's got a kind of good work ethic. I like that idea. But the trouble is, when you get that money built up, you've really got to protect it, and that's when I incorporated the, as you can see it there, where it says strategy, new lock stop. So whatever happens, when I get into a trade, I can only move it towards profit. I can't extend my stop. So then hopefully that should stop me from making that fatal mistake again. And once you can get capital in there, you can build up a few $1,000s. That's when you can start to make consistent money every month. And that's when kind of the job gets a bit more fun. And you kind of then can kind of get paid for your hard work that you've taken over 2 months to build that account. But I did read somewhere in a book that great traders haven't necessarily got the patience of a saint. You know, they still have weaknesses. They still have moments where they have wobbles. They just put certain things into practice to stop that from happening. You know, we all have that little bit of weakness. You know, everyone's got a limit before they break. But this book I read, you know, said these people put certain things into place to stop that happening. GAT is a perfect example. It's a great bit of software. If you set that up correctly, you can almost eliminate any way of blowing a count. So I have mine set up that if I take 2 losses in a day, if they're back to back, it won't let me trade again. And also I have my stop locked. So push it. Push it. My dog's there. A stop lock as well. I think that's it. It's a great bit of stuff. But if anybody hasn't got GAT or Guardian Angel Trader, go have a look at it. It's even got useful things that you could say after a loss, it can block your trading for 5 minutes, 15, 30 minutes. So it gives you that little bit of time just to sort of take it on board and settle. Because one of the things I had, thinking back, you know, 2 years odd, if I got caught trapped, say going long, and I thought, it's coming down, it stopped me out, I would immediately take the opposite direction. And as we know, a lot of the times they'd let you stop and then go in the same direction. So, you know, so many times I lost 2 trades within the space of 2 minutes. So that little tool to stop you doing that and just give yourself a little bit of breathing space, I think is great. Stop lock key, otherwise can just pop it backwards. Absolutely, yeah. And we've all done it. You guys have seen me do it. That's how I lost my accounts. I lost about 9 of them, I think. It may have been a bit more than that because I moved my stop. I think I took a couple of losses. I can't remember what happened. I was in a bad mood. Something didn't feel right. I'd had a few losses. I was a bit frustrated. You know, we all know certain things going on in your life can affect your day-to-day, and you know, trading's no different. And I just had a wobble and I panicked. The trouble is, it only takes a fraction of a second to move your stop and you're done, aren't you? Unless you close it quickly and get out of it. And the trouble is, if you move your stop, it's usually because you panic. And as we know, so many times I moved my stop and it went from, I think, a $275 risk to a $450 risk. And then as soon as it comes to you again, you either leave it and get out of it, but mostly you'll move it again. And that was it. I think it just came down and down and down and down till eventually all my accounts liquidated. Trouble is, you got to start again then. So then you got to do evaluations, and then you got to pay a PA, and then you got to take that month and a half, 2 months, 2.5 months to build those accounts back up till you get to the payment level again. So, this is interesting. There may be 1, 2, 3 a triple test here. Could this come down? Absolutely. 1, 2, 3. What does it look like on here? Not too bad. Trouble is, there's not much room to the lows. That's blown it. Yeah, there's a 1.5 to the lows, so that's a 1.25 profit. Now it may come down a bit lower. If this was tight under there, I'd have had a go at that. Trouble is, we're at the lows now, so my guess is that's a big bearish bar. It's probably going to come down. Yeah, it has done. So there's liquidity down here. So if it gets to this level, which it probably will, I'd have got my 12 points. I was very tempted, but Mac will tell you is you need enough room to the lows, otherwise don't take it. Now, out of all this, that was the biggest and the bearish one, and my guess is 8 times out of 10 that'd work, maybe even more, but because there's no room to the lows, I leave it. This is for a moving stops. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have got the full 12 points. That ATR is high enough for me to take my 12 ticks. Sorry. It may come down a bit lower there. Once we get below there, which we're not far off, that's where I'd have hit my 12 ticks, I think. No, that's 10 ticks and there's a couple of ticks back, so it would have to push below there. I mean, a lot of the times it'll do this, as we know. It'll end up doing something like that, which it could quite well do. It may come back a bit, may push down, but there's not enough room to the lows to get out. So the simple thing is now, if we know it's a rule that of max. So I don't think about it now. If there's not enough room, I just leave it. I would prefer that tight under here with a bit more of a stem and the bar finishing here. I mean, it is a triple test and it's probably going to work. If it gets below there, it'll get a bit easier. But because there's not a room to the lows, that's why I've decided just to leave that. So we've got a little double bounce there. So it's pretty much ranging. So I'll be surprised if it doesn't come back. Sorry, it doesn't come down below there and then maybe test this lows. Makes sense. Yeah. Make that a bit smaller. This is the only important bit I need. So there was certainly comfortably 2 points available there. So some may have taken that. I don't think it was the worst trade in the world. Yes, it's a little bit congested, but often it'll do that until we get a nice solid bar. And to be fair, it went up, touched that EMA, come down and close at its lows. So you would guess that would more likely come down a bit lower. But as I say, I would prefer that a little bit higher. In other words, the top of that bar tightly under that EMA with a bit of a wick, maybe clearing above this area and then closing maybe there, giving us that little bit more space. You'd expect that to work. We've clearly made a few attempts to push up, and it is a bearish bar. So you'd expect that to work, but as I say, there's a few ticks to the lows. And as we know from a Pat's point of view, you really need to respect that, which is why I left it. As we know, if it's bearish enough, there's a chance it's going to come down. So we've got the overnight lows here. So if we can get below there, the trouble is, when we have something like this, we have two legs down and a really big solid bar. I took a trade the other day. We had a solid green bar and then a higher low after two pushes down. And I did say when I took it, I thought there was a good chance this could be the low of the day. And it was. It never came back. So sometimes if you have got something very strong at what looks like at the overnight lows, often it won't get down below there. But I think it's much stronger when you get a big bull bar there followed by a really nice strong higher low. Because obviously the more people that buy in here, the more chance it's got of this area being protected. So we could end up having something like that. I mean, it's trying to push up. You know, we try to push up, pull down, try to push up, pull down, try to push up, pull down. So we are slowly grinding down, but we need to get below there, really. It's certainly fitting nice within that area there. If we can get below there, it may get a bit easier, but I'm guessing. So what area is that there? So that's 55.25. There is more orders down here, actually. At looks like 50. It's down here somewhere. There are buy orders set down there. Not a huge amount of them, but there's certainly traders thinking if price gets down here, I'll have a go at that. And if we are in a range, obviously shorting the tops, buying the bottoms is generally how these days work out. Anybody heard anything from Wilson lately? He tends to go through phases of posting what he's done for the day. Let's have a look. See how, oh my good grief. Alpine started off the day bad. He's about to blow all his accounts, I think. He seems to do well, Alpine, but when he takes a loss, he seems to get crippled. He's down over 2,000 on most of his accounts and 4,000 on others. I don't know why he does that. Whenever he takes a loss, they always seem to be massive. He's nutty not trading. Oh, he is. Let's have a look. How's he doing? Ooh. So he's up some and down on others. He's probably around about even, actually. So, yeah, I've not heard sight or sound of Wilson lately. How's Joe doing today? Trouble is, you can't see whether Joe's taken trades, can you? He doesn't really show you. He doesn't show you anything. Trouble is, it's hard to know. He blocks his accounts out. At least you can see here if mine's a live account. I don't know why he blocks it. You never quite know when people do that. But he doesn't strike me as the type of person to do that. So we've got Trump in the UK today. No, I haven't seen anything from Wilson. What was the last video he did? Do we have FMC? Yes, we do, mate. Yeah, it's not till later, 7 o'clock UK time, so most of us will be done and dusted by then. Oh, okay, so he did, let me have a look. Oh, so he did one yesterday. The previous one was 2 weeks before that. How is he doing today? FMC days are weird. Yeah, they certainly can be, mate. It is moving around. It is moving within channels, so we may still get something. But yeah. I've given up worrying about bad trading days. Well, I say that. It's probably a bit hypocritical considering I was moaning about it a couple of days. I might have to rephrase that. I didn't think what I said there. They don't worry me not taking a trade, really, unless it's for a few days. But, you know, you do realise in the end you can only take a trade, really, that jumps out and waves in front of you. If you take anything else, they can go wrong. But the trouble is, with all the frustration in the world, if you don't get a setup, you don't get a setup. You can absolutely do nothing about it. Trading range all the time almost, but it's silicon pats. Yeah. Actually, you know, Mac used to say he loves trading range days. He just shorts the tops. And I used to think, no, when I first learned to trade, trading currency, we were trend followers. So we would use a piece of software to identify a strong currency and a weak currency. And then you get either it trends up or trends down, depending. And then we were looking for trades. But, you know, I'd say some of the strongest trending days since I've been trading this are the hardest days to trade, because if they're strong, half the time they just... Some of these strong trading days don't suit Pats, because sometimes as the second it hits the channel, it just pushes up or moves up quick. We obviously wait for a certain setup, and you don't always get it. So I'm actually starting to come around, and I prefer these days because at least if we... You know, for instance, this one, it's a bit congested there, but you can see we've been up here 3 times with that bearish bar. And although price went sideways, we had another lower high, and that bar stayed intact, which tells me it's more likely going to come down. Now, how far it comes down is a different story, but we started going sideways with a slight downward bias, which is probably why it wasn't strong enough to drop. And then we had that little overshoot, which created 2 legs up. I didn't take this. For me, I'm not super confident about picking tops. I like to have something a little bit more clearer. But that, followed by that, is good enough to wait for a lower high, which unfortunately we didn't get. If we'd have got a lower high here, ideally a test of this and a lower high, it would have worked really well. But so I prefer these because at least, you know, when we get to the top, there's a possibility of a trade. So I prefer these days rather than trending days. But the trouble is, see, we've got this down here now. 1, 1, 2, 3. You could say a triple test. But the trouble is this the bottom of the range? Or is this the bottom of the range? And we're still in this channel. So I can't take a long trade while we're still in a downwards channel, even though it may resemble a triple test. And that's off the battle with trading a strategy. The strategy may say we've got a triple test at support, but the context is telling us we're working slowly down. But you know, the longer I've been trading, the more I get an understanding of the markets, the more I realise how much of a long time it really does take until you really start to understand what's going on here. But if you stay here long enough and keep coming back, it definitely gets easier. So, you know, I absolutely, more now than ever, understand why there's such a big failure rate in trading, because it's so bloody hard and it takes so bloody long. It looks easy. You know, all I'm looking at is green and red bars going up and down. All I've got to do is click a mouse. How difficult can it be? But my God, it is. Who's messaging me? Let's have a look. Amazon. Chat for the driver delivering packages. Okay. I'm a driver trying to deliver Amazon package. I will arrive very soon. Please secure pets if you have them. And turn on a light if it's dark. So now we've got a channel coming down with possibly a break. 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test up here, but we are bouncing at support there. So is that going to be, as I say, sometimes when you have these two legs down and a very strong move up, often this will be the low of the day. So price could come below here, but it may not. So depending on what I'm seeing, I may have to sort of leave this alone, but that's fine. I don't mind. Amazon. That's come today. Okay. 315 to 515. So I've got my power supply, my RAM, my SSD, and my cooling system. 7 stops away. Okay. Okay. Excuse me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. There's some more parcels coming. So, So we have got a push in a bearish bar. I think it's too early to go there. It would have to be a second entry short, really, to go lower. Okay, so Dan's got that, which is good news. Second entry short. Trouble is, there is a little bit of support there. That's the trouble. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Yeah. Trouble is, I would prefer that green bar a higher low. That would be trapping some longs. Yeah, if it sets up well. Trouble is, got to make sure we got enough room to those lows, really. If it gets below that, we've broken there, that's one thing. So, trouble is, by the time this finishes, there's just be no room, I don't think. So I might have to go for a little bit less points here, depending on how it sets up.
Order submitted.
Might just go for a couple of points, seeing I was hoping this would move a little bit higher. So there's hardly any points there, really. There's a 1.5 to the lows. That's currently where it is now. I have a feeling I would much prefer this to push a bit higher, which it is. That's good. I want it to break above this little bar, which it has. So let's see what happens here. Now, you could argue 1, 2, 3 triple test. Nothing's going to happen until the afternoon. This day is done. You think so? See, there is orders sat between 65 and 67, which is up here. 1, 2, 3, maybe a triple test up here. It's hard to say at the moment. Just going to ditch that just a minute.
Order cancelled.
Now move down with 2 legs up. So right at the measured move there. Okay, so Mac wouldn't take a short here, I don't think. He's got that, which is a bit odd. Mac's got that like that. It's a bit odd for me, I think. Yeah, Mac's got that like that. Maybe. I don't know, actually. It's a bit strange that how he's got that. It doesn't really make much sense, does it? Anyway, he's got the little micro up here with a break. Mind you, we've had that. It has played out. Trouble is, it's not set up anyway, so it's no good anyway. So regardless, I don't like that, to be honest with you. Although I do respect Mac, you've got to take what you think looks right. So for me, I actually prefer that touch, touch, touch. 2 attempts to push higher. Strange one. See, Dan's basically got the same as me with this. It's touching the bottom, nice touch in the top. So I prefer that. But yeah, Mac does have some unusual looking channels sometimes. That don't really make much sense. So we've got 2 legs up and a quick drop below that EMA. So is this coming down below there? I'd say quite possibly. The only trouble is we haven't got a setup at all. We've just had 2 legs up. It's literally just crossed over, tick dial or whatever, and then just dropped below the EMA. So is it likely to get below there? Quite probably. But the trouble is when we're going short into support, you never quite know. Is it going to get down? But I think it probably will. There's just nothing for us. Does kind of make sense as well, doesn't it? Channel like that, 2 attempts to push higher. Usually then we'll drop lower, but because we've had such a lot of support, you never know whether buyers, see if there's strong buyers down here, you don't know whether buyers will add to price. We obviously know people do add to it, so whether they, mind you, if you entered here, 2 bounces here, you'd think you'd be taking profits here, wouldn't you? Especially on a FOMC day, because obviously an FOMC day a lot of the time does just go sideways. So if you bought here, we had that push up with the break and it pushed up again close to this, you'd think it'd be the ideal place to take profits if you went for a bigger move. So we are bouncing. You know, we've got support and resistance. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bounces here, but then we got resistance as well. So this channel looks right to me, 2 pushes up, so I'm going to guess it's probably going to break the lows here, but it may not do it that easy. So I'm just going to sit tight here. I'm not getting involved in this at the moment. Yeah, see, there is a chunk. There's quite a chunk of orders up around here, so who knows? So bounce, 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 bounce. Nearly, nearly, nearly. If we get below this. So we're into support as well, again. So, yeah, there's no entry there anyway, but then really, if you did have a short there, you'd probably want to get out before those lows because we know how much support there is there. We just didn't get it. If that had been bearish, you'd more likely got a couple of points out of it. And then all of a sudden we get back down to it and we have a strong push up. So trouble is when you're getting support like that, I think the natural thing is when we have a break 2 legs up, it usually does come down, doesn't it? But because there's so much support there, that's why it tends to be rattling between these two areas. I will say there's not a huge amount of buying down here. Below here on Bookmap, it's quite dark below price. It's a lot thicker up here. See it here. Bigger orders. I mean, 65. There's some massive orders at 65, which is above that last bit of support there. So 65, which is there. So it's above here. That big bearish bar and all this. So it may push up there, and then we may get some more move down. That's kind of what it's telling me. Who knows? Sean, how you doing, my friend? What's the difference between red and yellow on Bookmap? The darker the colour, the darker the red, the more orders there are. So the blacker colours, there's not much there. You can see it down here, and obviously the darker the red, the more orders they are. You can see these big orders here at 65. So there is big sell orders at 65 right up here. So if price does get up, people may decide to push this back down again. Who knows? See, the trouble is, it's having those passive orders sat there. You've got these as well, which are aggressive buyers and sellers. So if there's a big seller, you may think this may push up there because of the orders. Price generally moves to liquidity, but then if you've got massive sellers here at the price now, it may not get up there. And once it then starts to push down, a lot of these will get yanked. But they do have these, I think they call them spoof orders or whatever, don't they? They could be big institutions probably putting sell orders on here to draw price up. I don't pretend to know a huge amount about this. I understand what most of it means. Obviously, these little balls here, or bubbles, whatever you want to call them, these are aggressive buyers and sellers. These are passive orders. So if I put an order in for a short up here, it will sort of mingle in with this lot. But then you've got aggressive buyers and sellers. I think this is all delta and whatever it is. I don't understand a lot of this, to be fair. This is not really much for a Pats trader, but I kind of just like sometimes see if I'm looking for a short here that's here and my stop is going to go here and I can see there's some big orders, that might be an idea not to take a short there because you don't know if it's going to trigger your push up and hit a lot of these orders. So sometimes I try and look at this to try and work out what's going on along with price, and it does kind of help you understand it a little bit more. But I've really only scratched the surface of this. A lot of people swear by it, but I kind of use this more for where kind of not to get in. And just, I think the more you look at it and identify what's happening between the two, you tend to understand it a bit more. But channel down with 2 pushes up. We have broken below this now. So if there is buyers here, stops may be a bit lower. So sometimes price will come down a little bit lower than that, and then it'll have a bit of a drop. So we got a channel down there, 2 pushes up, 2 pushes to a new low. So same again. Is this a good place to buy? I wouldn't expect so. I don't know. But then if we're expecting price to come up to liquidity up here, maybe it is. But we are bouncing here. So we bounced here and we pushed up a bit. We bounced here, we pushed up. We bounced here. We didn't really go nowhere above price. So at the moment, I just tend to stay away from this. I mean, I just, like I say, we know it's FOMC day. It can be a bit finicky, and this is just rattling around at the moment. So it may go higher, or it may trigger and come down. It's hard to say. But but I'm just staying out of this at the moment. But it has played out, channel down with a break in the way of 2 pushes up, 2 pushes to a new low. So it has played out. So it could push up. You quite likely expect buyers to be down here because they are trying to hold on to that area. Oh. In fact, that shows you the sliding scale of the colours. So the black, less orders. And as we slowly get brighter and brighter, we go to sort of light blue. Then we go to kind of this white colour. And then we go to the yellow and then into the deeper, darker reds where there's more orders. So it's just, you can just see there's stronger orders up here. So yeah, there's all sorts of stuff you can do with this. This is just the one that's just showing on YouTube, but you can pay for this and you can adjust everything. But it's not really a tool for a Pat's trader as such. But you know, some traders do swear by it. So this has pushed up. No reason why it wouldn't push up to this area. We're kind of rattling from the top to the bottom, but it's not for me, to be honest with you. There's not enough points for me really, and I don't really want to get involved in this. So a tick above there to the highs. So up to this level, there's a 1.25 up to there. You know, I go for sort of 3, but it'll have to go for 3.25. But we're up here then, so is this going to push above this? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But when it's doing this, I'd just rather sit tight. You know, if the red and yellow are buyers or sellers. Sellers, you can see where price is. So you can see the red, there's sell orders up there, passive sell orders, and the green. So above price is sell orders, below price is buy orders. And we know price moves towards liquidity. So you can see it's drifting up. Now, if you look at aggressive orders as well, there's a lot more aggressive buyers here pushing this up. But there is seller orders coming up here now. So the trouble is you can have a massive orders up here where price moves towards liquidity. But if you've got big sell orders, aggressive sell orders coming in now, it might get up there. So that's the thing. This we can see where there's orders sat waiting. Currently, they could get yanked. This isn't what we can't see. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 seconds where we're going to have masses of buyers or sellers. So although this is likely going to push up, see what I mean? See these big sellers coming here? It's not getting up here, but there's big passive sell orders trying to push this continue down. So you've got that kind of battle. So this really only gives you half the picture. But I use this. If I'm looking to short here, generally price has more chance of moving towards liquidity. So if I sell here, my stop is above it, it may trigger me and push up. So I kind of use this where kind of not to get in. But obviously I can see at the moment, but you see it got up so far and you can see them big sell orders pushing this back down. So traders think, I suppose if we're in a range here, the natural place where it goes from a range is from the top to bottom. So we're getting a lot of chop here. We push up. We didn't pick up all those sell orders up here, but we got enough aggressive sell orders, and there still was passive orders here, but then we had enough aggressive sell orders to push this back down. So, you know, it's that kind of battle, isn't it? But you never quite know what's in the mind of these buyers and sellers. All we can do is just judge this for what we're looking at really at the moment, which is just a range. We know when price hits the top, chances are it finds its way to the bottom. Now, where the bottom is, that's where range days can be a little bit tricky. You've got two areas where you could consider the bottom, but how this is bouncing here, you know, there's more chance. The more chance this holds here, the more chance then it will eventually go up. But you can see those aggressive sellers buying that. But if the thing still continues up, those aggressive sellers eventually will disappear. He's taking a couple of weeks off. Yeah, he's took a big loss today, hasn't he? See, Alpine can make money and his system works. But when he has a loss, he seems to get crucified. So he needs something in place to, you know, to slow that loss, because it's okay making money 10, 12 days in a row. But if you lose it all in one day, it's kind of a flawed thing. But, you know, fair dues to the guy. He's made fair amount of money out of it. So although his system is kind of has a small flaw in it, it still makes money out of it. So anybody who makes money in this business has my respects. I know bloody hard it is, but so it's kind of a battle going on here, isn't it, at the moment? And that's what happens when it's going sideways. It's kind of an area of uncertainty. There are traders who want this to go down. There are traders who maybe bought down here and want this to continue up. Jan, how you doing, my friend? Trades by Matt are probably making a lot of affiliate. Yes, absolutely. You know, I would suggest people like that are making at least $10,000 a month, at least. So how you doing, Jan? So you can afford to take a hit and then pick a load more accounts up when you've got the money to do that. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all heard, who was it? Who's the what's it guy? The main guy. He actually showed, who am I thinking of? The BDH, whatever his name is. He actually showed how much he was making, and some days he was making $20,000 in a day as an affiliate. Patrick Whelan, yeah, $20,000 in a day. That's a huge amount. So yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, my best ever month was $3,000. My best ever month. It was a one-off freak month, but I always tended to average around about $1,200 to $1,300 per month, which is nowhere near what these guys are making, but plenty enough to help with your trading. Little Hammer, how you doing, bud? So it absolutely helps you, and it helped me being able to move my trading to part-time, or move my job to part-time, so I could consider more on trading. But some of these affiliates are making, as I say, $20,000 a day. Price 2 days is more than the average yearly wage in the UK. So they can afford to take bigger risks on these accounts, because if they blow them, all they've got to do is buy a stack more. Okay, so there's a lower high here. I'd expect it to come back and test these lows. Whether it'll break the lows, it may do. But I'm not taking a trade here at the moment. There's a lot of buyers at 60. So you can see there's a chunk of buyers there at 60. Which is here. So a reason not to take a trade here. I mean, it hasn't worked out anyway, but you can see there's a chunk of buyers there. So there are traders who don't want price to get lower, and it may be traders who are already in the market here, or possibly earlier on in the day, and who are trying to prop this up. If they hold it up long enough, it's more likely they're going to push up towards the top. But that's where I look at a bookmap when not to get into a trade, because I know there are buyers down here. So if this was bearish and I shorted that there's a good chance it could come down a little bit and turn and trap me. I wouldn't want to short that low towards the bottoms anyway. So, but yeah, so Kellyanne in Discord was talking about that. She said she was making more money in Discord. Yeah. See, she annoyed me a little bit a while ago because she was giving such a lot of grief to some of these affiliates making big money. And then she said quite a few times she makes her money from trading and didn't agree with the affiliates because advertising certain companies that may not be as reputable. And what she was doing is using other people's affiliates code to make them money. Now she has affiliate codes for everywhere, so she's realised there's a lot of money to be made, and there's no reason why people shouldn't have the codes. The people who are buying they don't pay any more money. If you guys have ever used my code, you don't pay any more money. But obviously there's money to be made there, and she hates Apex. Yeah. So yeah, she used to say, go on about affiliates, people making affiliates, and she makes her money, and now all of a sudden she's big on it. She got crucified for that initially, but you can't blame people for having an affiliate code. If people, they're not going to use your code, they'll use somebody else's. And it doesn't cost them any more money. But when she realised how much money potentially, well, I will take my hat off to her. Who was the company that went bust? They were, I think, the first company to do straight to funded. I think she said she made 20,000 1 month just off that company, and she did in the end part ties with them. So I'll take my hat off to her. She gave giveaways. I went to get. Oh, really? I have not reached 100 USD. Yeah, I don't get a huge amount, to be honest with you, mate. I think I got $450 last month. I think I'm up to $200 this month. I don't think people spend as much money on affiliates as they used to. So leg and a leg. Let's see what happens when he gets these orders. So there is, I mean, I could kind of try and grow this channel. I've ummed and ahed about it, but I don't know. Streaming is easy in a way because you haven't really got to do anything. It just copies what I'm doing. Whereas making videos, you've obviously got to put a lot of time and effort into making the videos, and I tend to not do them. So it has picked up some of these buy orders now. You can see them. So let's see now if this pushes up. We've still got to rely on... See, it's okay having buy orders down here, but if you're getting 3 times the amount of sellers, aggressive sellers, than you are buyers, price may still come down. So it's not a perfect system, this. But now you can see the yellow, which is darker than this, brighter than this. There's more shorts up here around about the 65, which is the top, funnily enough, of where we're moving. But it's okay having a load of buy orders if all of a sudden you have a huge amount of aggressive sell orders, which will push it down. So it's not perfect, is it? In the other group, I got a free account, so on my Fund Futures call accounts, yeah. Company gave 1,000. Oh, crikey. So is price going to get down below here? It has. Okay, that's interesting. So chop, 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 sideways, bit of a range, a breakout which failed. When you get a breakout at the top, often you get one out at the bottom, as we know. So price has probably cleared a certain amount of liquidity there. I like to think this liquidity down here, what's this? 53.75. Yeah, there is some down here. A little bit higher than that. So is price going to come down? It's hard to say, really. It's not a huge amount of volume, which I suppose you'd probably expect that on a FOMC day. So there is a second entry long off there. Would I want to buy there? I wouldn't want to buy at the bottom there because we had what looked like a little breakout which failed. So often we'll get one this side. So there's a reason I stayed out of there. But it is kind of 2 legs back and it is a second entry long. But this isn't my forward strong point, buying and selling these kind of little areas. And not only that, there's only about 5 points from top to bottom. So there's not a huge amount of Huge amount of space that it's moving between. But I had a good day yesterday. I was really pleased yesterday. I was up between 225 and 450 on some of my accounts. So it was a good day for me, that. If I could guarantee that every week, I'd be happy. If I could get $250 per account per week, I'd be more than happy. It's $1,000 a month. You got 10, 20, 30 accounts. You can earn a stack of money. So I'm more than happy with yesterday. So I'm certainly not in a rush to give it all away. It's not the easiest day. We've spent a lot of time kind of doing this. It got filled. It didn't get filled. Like 5 trades before. Okay, I'm going to take a little break. It's just chopping around at the moment, so I'm going to take advantage of it, not doing much. So what time are we now? So we're about coming up 10 past 4. So yeah, so we've spent about 45 minutes just with that. So it's super slow at the moment, so I don't like to miss a trade, but something tells me it's not the ideal place to get involved at the moment. If we can get another bounce up here, channel down a couple of legs, nice bearish bar, second entry short, that might not be terrible. But there we go. So I'm just going to take a quick 5 minutes to make myself a cup of tea. Where are down here? So I'm just going to pop that on there. Too slow, got filters moving. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you guys to it just for 5 minutes. I'll make a quick cup of tea and I'll be back. Okay. What have I missed? Not a lot really. So we've just, there is a higher low there after this bottom, but there's nothing I'd really do there, I don't think, while it's doing this. Decent short off here, I don't think would be terrible. Trouble is, let me just remove this. Looking at book map, there is orders up here, above here, 66, 67. So that tells me that it could push a bit higher, unless you get enough aggressive sellers. See, this buy order's trying to push this up. There's aggressive buyers coming in here. That's the trouble. You got the battle. You can see the orders up here, 66, 67, around this area, which is above here. But then you got those aggressive sellers. There's more sellers at the moment pushing this down, so it may not get up there. Yeah, there's large buy orders at 60 again. So sellers are up here, buyers are down here, which it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, see, Thomas Wade, when I marked those two legs up, Thomas Wade took a short there. It's a bit of an odd because there's no real setup there. I mean, it is a second entry short, but the signal bar's complete crap. But there is two legs up, so it depends how you look at that. But clearly, two legs up. The trouble is, when you got quite a bit of support like that, you just never quite know when it's going to go. But so that looked better. Which was this? That was the same. So that must have been a slightly different chart. Oh, so there you go, second chart. So that looked okay. I don't think I got it. No, I didn't get it on mine. There was 2 legs up. It just wasn't that good. His it was. If it had been that good, I would have had a go at it. So there's Mac. See, that's the problem, really. Mac had a different channel, in which case these 2 legs, we'd already made a new low. That's the problem, really. Yeah, so there was a long there, wasn't there? I don't know. Straight down here. See, that one was 2 legs down and it was there, so that worked. This one, 2 legs down, so that worked. This, it's only really 1 leg down. It's going to break out of this at some point, whether it's above here or down here. Okay, and there we go, out the bottom. He's just blown all his accounts, that's why. Oh, dear me. Looking at Alpine, what is he? It's down about, he's lost about 15,000 of his accounts. He didn't have a huge amount. So that's the trouble. He just lets them go and go and go till they blow. Seems to be what happens with it, with his accounts in general, whenever he seems to take a loss. Excuse me. Okay, there is big sell orders at 60. So, okay, so that's come up there, hit that 60 level and dropped again. So is this coming down to test the lows? So yeah, it's pushed up there, got to 60. I just seen there was a big load of sell orders, there. So it's come up, hit that level and then dropped. So it's obviously come up, retested the bottom, and looks like it's getting pushed down a bit. Need to build a bot. Strategy building ninja. I think, well, with all this AI technology, I think it's going to go more and more bots, I think, isn't it? See, the thing is about bots, you haven't got that human connection, which is good in a way, but you haven't got that human emotion. The bot just plays the game, doesn't have emotion. So, you know, I don't know too much about institutionals, but I think a lot of institutionals are very more and more automated now, I think, anyway, aren't they? I think that's the way things will go. I do see the odd video from time to time about people, you know, programming a strategy and just letting it play. But the prop firms don't like it, do they? They want you to trade it because they know human beings have emotions. I don't know, maybe things will all change over the next 5-10 years. Maybe it'll all go that way. Who knows? Who knows? So we got a little channel down here. If we get a second entry short around here, this thing may go down. Traders account with bots and manual. Yeah, I think bots are a good idea, but I think you still need that human. You know, I mean, you need obviously humans to tell them what to do, don't you? No, yeah, you're not allowed to do any high frequency trading. Yeah, there is quite a few sell orders around 60 to 62. So this thing pushes down, has a couple legs up, gets to that EMA, there's sell orders there. So that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? The trouble is when we have a range like this and we break out of it, often this thing will fail. But the trouble is with those sell orders up here, we haven't got very far. See, it's very tempting to take a long there, very tempting. But as we've broken down here, we look to me, we pushed up once and reversed. So we've already had one attempt to push higher. Now I can see there's sell orders there, so I'm not going to entertain along here. Now it may well push up, but I can see those sell orders around this area here. So, you know, there may be sellers thinking if price hits the EMA, I'm going to go short here. So I'm just staying out of this. There's no room to not much room to the EMA. So let's have a look. So there's barely a point really to the EMA, but I think it'll get to the EMA and then may start to pull down. You can do the AI now. Skynet is coming. Skynet, I've heard of that. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I will like to say that bearish bar there is probably going to get triggered or stopped out. That makes sense. It'll probably get to the EMA, but will it go higher? I'm not so sure. Skynet, I've heard of Skynet. Terminator. That may have been it, actually. Terminator movie. I've seen that for a few years. You're too young for that, aren't you? Wasn't that out before you were born, I'm guessing? So, we're up to the EMA now. I'll be back. I'll be back. Considered it a divorce. Yeah. We like Arnie, don't we? He's getting old now as well. Bless him, isn't he? So, are we going to get a second entry short here? Is this going to come down? Possibly. Do I really want to go short? Not necessarily, because there is buy orders at 70. Around about here. Buy orders at 80 to 85. So there's buy orders around here. So if this thing comes down, it may push higher. I don't know anyway. It's not the easiest of days today. It's really slow. Would I want to take a short here? It's kind of tempting, but I'm just going to sit tight because there's always a possibility the breakout fails. It has failed temporarily, but is it going to push back up or is it going to come down? I don't know, to be honest with you. You need music. So I'll be listening to today, level 42. I haven't heard them for a long time. Okay, second entry short here. Would I go short here? I'm sitting tight here at the moment, I am. It has come back to the EMA, but you don't know whether we're pushing in, testing resistance as support and push higher. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. It's not a huge risk. But I'm just not a massive fan of this, to be honest with it. It is a second entry short, but we've pushed up and we have bounced off what's now support. So you just don't know, to be honest with this. So I'm just going to sit tight. I had such a good day yesterday. I don't want to do anything stupid. And I have a little bit of a caution going on inside my head here. Yeah, see, we've had sort of support there and we've broken through it, and then we've pushed back above it and we've bounced on top of it. So you just don't know. We'd probably get a leg and a leg down here, or we certainly could do. It's one of these ones that I just, around this area, I'm just a little bit cautious. Is anybody taking it? I haven't seen anybody taking it. Let's have a look. No, I haven't seen anybody taking it. It may work, but sometimes the worst trade in the world can work. But Dan did say he's looking at possibly the larger channel, so in which case it may work. We could have a leg down and a leg down. It's hard to say, really. It does look like it might. But when it pushes up and bounces on support, that's where I get cautious. That actually doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it certainly could be. You could have that leg down with a correction and another leg down. If we get a lower high under here, that might be a slightly better option. It's hard to say, really. Trouble is, when you've pushed up and bounced on top of all that, that for me then would be just a little bit cautious. I haven't seen anybody take a trade. So, reference the higher low, I just don't think there's enough points there for me. There's certainly not enough for me, so so you'd have got a 1.5 there, because it'd obviously have to push through, so there's just not enough for me. And when you do break out the bottom, you never quite know where it's going to go. You know, most breakouts fail. This one did, but temporarily, and then dropped back out. So we're getting a little bit of support there. Now, it's struggle like hell to get through here, so is there going to be buyers trying to hold on to that? So every time price comes down, you know, it looks to me like it's trying to be propped up. So all of a sudden, 1, 2, 3. Now you've got a break with a new low. One attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. So you've got like a triple test here. Would I want to go long here? I wouldn't want to do anything really, because this may work or that may work. So it may trigger you test this line again and come down. So this is just a little bit, what do I honestly think? As we've pushed back out, my gut feeling is it's more likely to come down. But we have got a triple test, so you just never know. Well, currently we've got a triple test. It may not work, or we may have a bullish bar here. It may trigger, and then it may come down for a second leg. So we've got one leg down there. We may get a second leg down. But when you get 4 bounces, all right, granted this hasn't finished as yet. Someone said this is 100% a Maca triple test. One, it hasn't triggered yet. Okay, so it hasn't triggered. It's not a trade I would have liked to take long, to be honest with you. Let's see if it does trigger. Dan's typing. Okay, it's triggered. I'm just not a fan of it, to be honest with you. It's not a huge risk. It's only 6 ticks. But I think it's risky. We could have this channel down. We could make 2 attempts and it may just drop. So I'm not getting involved here. It's too wishy-washy for me. Yeah, Dan said he wasn't tempted at the second entry short, which would have been that one. So he never took that second entry short. I can't see he takes this. We've got this move down. We could get 2 little pushes up and a drop. Looks like it may be working, but how far is it going to get? Obviously, when it comes into contact with that EMA, that may give it some a little bit of resistance. So I'd get rid of that now. So we've got a channel down with a new low. It is a triple test. Okay, this is 100% a Maca triple test. There's enough room to the EMA for a point for Mac. Or is there? So if you go a tick above it, which is there, it's pushing it. So we've got a move down. We've got a small break and a new low. 1 leg up, second leg up. It still could drop. So Mac may mark that as a triple test to the highs. You took it scaled out for 6 ticks, yeah. I'm just not sure about this because we pushed up and we bounced off support there and we dropped some more. So this just, I'm just a little bit cautious. There is buyers up here, but there's also buyers at 57, which is below this. It may work. But there's... I go first at 3 points, so it would have to get up to there for me to push through. It's too high. It's broken that area of liquidity. You don't know that it's not going to come down. So it's just, you like fading. Yeah, we all kind of have different ways of trading, you know, trades that we prefer, that we don't prefer. Why can't I get rid of this? And also there's 2 attempts to push up, so you just never know. We had kind of the same here, didn't we? We had 2 attempts and it pushed down a bit, but not enough, and then it broke above it all. And then we had 2 bigger legs up that worked. It's a bit of a finicky day today, to be honest with you. Yeah, Dan never took it. So on here now, we've got 2 legs up and a bearish bar. So let's see where this goes. Does it push up or does it come down? I don't know how I feel about it. It looks like it's coming down, so that wouldn't have worked for me in that case. But is it? Sometimes it'll do this, and traders might go short, and all of a sudden it turns. It's a bit. It's a bit trappy for me. Trouble is, if I'd have taken that there, tick above it, it would have had to hit there for me, so I wouldn't have had me points. Now, it hasn't been stopped out yet, but it's just not enough, really. So you're there. So you're looking 2.5 points if you're getting on the nail, one tick above it. Yeah, when it's like this, it can get you into trouble, can't it? Mind you, when you look at it in balance, if you see we got 2 legs down a bullish bar, it did work. But I can't see any other buys there, and I can't see any other sells. So when it's chopping back like that, sometimes it can just get you into bits of trouble. Yeah, funny enough, someone's just posted that. Chop, chop, chop. That's the trouble. It can lead you into trouble. And I kind of like the way now my patience allows me to just leave this alone. I can't tell you how many times I would have gone, oh, there's so-and-so there, or there's a lower high there, let's go short there, and it comes up and takes you out. So I'm quite happy with leaving this now. And I know sometimes it takes you a while to get a setup, but then all of a sudden we'll get 2 that come along in short succession like yesterday, and that turns the tables. What I got yesterday on my accounts, I'd be pleased. I'd be quite happy with that if I got that, what I got yesterday, over a week, if I could, continue to get that over a week. So some days you get a good day and it can give you a kind of week's worth of profit. So I've got no issues with leaving that, especially when it's going slow. Sometimes it's got a habit of just shooting off in an odd direction. So where are we now? So we are 10 to 5. So 10 to 4. So it's taken an hour just to do this. So 10 to. So let's have a look. Yeah. So it's taken an hour just to do this. So yeah, I suppose it's acting like a typical FMC. It doesn't mean you can't get a trade. If you get lucky and get a trade, you're kind of done. But see the triple test low. I'm leaning less likely to market. Triple test higher low. Oh, he's looking for a higher low here. Triple test, bum bum bum. Didn't come down. It didn't give it. It hasn't given us an higher low anyway. But so for me at the moment, it's just working between those areas. Up, down, up. Where's it coming next? Down and then up again. So we had quite a bit of it there. It was nearly an hour of it there. So I got to miss 5 before, too slow. London was better. It's I don't do London. It's too early for me. I'm still in bed at that time. I don't get up. What time did I get out this morning? I got in bed about 10 o'clock this morning. I got out. Mind you, I went to bed quite late. Trouble is, when you work from home and you haven't got to get up in the morning, when you're kind of in mainstream employment, you get used to getting up at the same time in the morning. Like my wife leaves work about 8:30 in the morning, so she's up about 7 o'clock. I don't. My daughter does 3 days at college, so she's not at the college at the moment. So there's no reason to get up for a specific time for me. And when you haven't got to get up, if you wake up in the night, sometimes the tendency I'll go down, I may, load the dishwasher, I'll make a cup of tea, I might watch a bit of TV, the 1% who make it in trading survive the toughest days and make it on the... Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yesterday was a good day. We definitely had 3, certainly 2, quite likely 3 really good solid trades, which we don't often get. And then, so the way I see it is, I used to have this idea that if I can make $2,000 per account per week, I'll make $8,000. And I had unrealistic expectations. So if I can get 2 clear winning trades per week per account, trading 1 contract, that's $300, say, taking away a little bit of commissions, just a little bit less. That's 2 clear trades. So, if I take 4 and I lose 1, I'm up more than that. So if I take 3, win 3 and lose 1. So I kind of like to have the idea that if I can make an average of $250 per account per week, it's $1,000 a month, times by however many accounts you've got, 5, 10, 20, 30. So there's plenty of money to be earned. I had unrealistic expectations. So I think on a smaller term now, and just think about waiting for a good setup and just leaving the rest. And it works. And then yesterday, I had a week's worth of profit in a day. So, it can work like that. But, it's okay waiting for good setups and taking those. That's okay. But it's avoiding the bad ones. And sometimes, the patience can get the better of you. I don't have a problem with patience now. I'm lucky there. Patience for me was so hard when I first started. But when you're quite new to trading, you're so desperate to get into a trade and kind of prove yourself. You don't think, but slowly over time, your filter level starts to just push out the crap. And then you're left with, a good amount of patience, a good understanding of your strategy and how price works. And then hopefully you take good setups as well. But it's taken me nearly November. I'll have been trading 5 years, so it takes a long time for all those kind of little wheels and cogs that go on in your brain to start working in harmony. When you first start, they're all over the place. Your emotions are all over the place. 1 minute you're up, next minute you got blown accounts. But if you just keep coming back with time, and that's the difficult thing about this, it's been able to put up with all the shit you go through and still come back for more. And not everyone's that thick-skinned and can put up with it, because I had days, 2 days in particular, where I was in tears. I had many days where I felt depressed, and when I was blowing money after money. So it's a hard ride. I think I probably made it a lot harder for myself by being a bit stubborn and pig-headed, and instead of trying to play the game right, I thought if I throw money at it, it'll work in my favour. Never happens in the market. Market's too smart for that. You'll get lucky once in a blue moon, and then you'll get ripped to pieces for the rest. But with time, if you keep coming back and keep sticking at it, there's a big failure rate in trading. But my honest belief, and I'm convinced of this, it's not because people aren't capable of learning it. They absolutely are. It's just a lot harder than it looks, and not everyone can put up with that, the pain and the suffering that you kind of go through, and you do. But I'm quite lucky that I can take a batter in it and come back in a couple of days. Some people can do it, some can't. I wouldn't consider it hard work. I consider it just a bit of luck that I happen to be a glutton for punishment. But I remember Marco said to me something a while ago. He said, when you can do it, it's the best job in the world. And I absolutely agree. I've got friends of mine that are working 10, 12 hours a day, and I'm just, I get up in the morning, I may go out for breakfast somewhere, I potter around, sometimes I'll go to the gym, I'll take my daughter to college, and I've got an easy life compared to most people. And I love the fact that we had a meeting at college for my daughter yesterday, so yeah, I packed up, went up there at 5 o'clock. There's no time constraints when you're trading. You can just fit trading around your life very simply. So when it works and when you get to the stage where it's working, it's a really nice feeling being a trader. It's really nice knowing that you're never going to have to worry about being sacked or, sometimes I've worked for some arseholes over the years. So I love the fact that I can do what I want instead of working my arse off for someone else. A lot of these companies, they just tell you what they want you to hear, so you work your arse off and make their dreams come true. So, channel down 1, 2, 3. Now, how would I feel about a decent triple test off here? The trouble is, we had a ruck of support there and we managed to get through it, and now we've got some more. Trouble is, I go for 3 points and there's not much. So really, I need to pick up that whole move for a trade. So I think I'm going to have to be a bit realistic and take that down to 2 points, I think. That's much more a realistic goal, I think. Trying to capture the whole move from top to bottom. It's probably asking a bit too much. You'd have to push through to there, wouldn't you? That's a bit more realistic. So channel down, 1 attempt, 2 attempts. Get a bearish bar above this. I don't think that's a bad trade. As long as you've got enough room to get out to support. And it is, we have got 2 legs up. We had the same there, 2 legs up. This is very tempting.
Order submitted.
There's not much room to the lows. It's a fair chunky ass bar as well. It's not going to work anyway. Let's get rid of it.
Order cancelled.
It's going to end close to a doji anyway. I can't see it pushing down there in the last. No. So there is a triple test on this second chart, but another couple of ticks higher and that'd be a doji. So I think that's a little bit too negative now. We have made 3 attempts, but it's just not good enough to keep me out of the trade there. May come down, it may not, but for me that's it's no good, that, unfortunately. And not only that, you haven't got a huge amount of space to play with. If you were shorting below that, even if it ends up bearish, there's enough points for a couple of points, or you know, if it was a good enough setup, I wouldn't turn my nose up at 1.5 if it meant I'd take a decent setup. But at the moment, it's just not good enough to. At the moment, is it? Let's see if this one triggers. It's 10 ticks, isn't it? That so. So, and I can see buy orders at 57, which is down here. That's at the lows there, which makes sense. So, is it going to work? I'd say it probably will, but I'm just sitting out of it at the moment. It's just not a great bar. It's a doji on the other one, and it's a couple of ticks off a doji here. So I'd say it's probably going to work, but I'm staying out of it. Not only that, we've had this channel with 3 attempts to go lower, so there's always a possibility we could come up here, but I'm just sitting tight at the moment. A lot of the times when I say this, they do work, but they are a little bit more aggressive, especially because of the way that wick is. So I'm quite happy to set out the slightly more aggressive ones. Looks like a Super 8. Yeah, does it really? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's super messy, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. It's not the easiest of days, is it? So what I will say, we got that big bearish bar there, and we got 3 bullish bars there, and prices triggered above them. So is this going to come down below there? I'd say more than likely, which may be a call to take that. But at the moment, I've just made my decision on that just because of that wick. And I'm just kind of going to leave it because it's not pushing down with any kind of urgency. There'd have been a time where I wouldn't be able to resist to get into stuff like that, but I've just kind of learnt the hard way. Sometimes if there's something just not right with it, you're better off leaving it. See, I'm really surprised Taylor hasn't taken that. He's just posted that right now. That's his second chart. Look how nice that triple test looks there. 1, 2, 3. It looks nice there. Now that looks like quite a nice triple test. So how far did it go down? So he took that. I can't tell where he took it. So he took that around about here. So probably 6 ticks maybe. But that looked okay on his chart. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes it just takes a bit of time to get down. So now we're down. I think there's a good chance it comes down to these lows. Certainly below there, I would have suggested it may come right down. It's gone below that EMA now. It's more likely going to push down, I think. We've got orders at 57, which is just below this area here. There. So I'm guessing it's probably going to come down. But there's just not a huge amount of space to the lows, really. Looks like it's working down. It's just doing it a little slow. So yeah, see them buy orders down there at 57, which is there, which is below there. So the liquidity there. To be honest with you, if it breaks below these three here, it may have a quick little drop anyway, so it'll comfortably pick those orders up. So yeah, my guess is it'll get to that. It's just a shame it wasn't a better setup. That one on Taylor's second chart was beautiful. It just popped back a bit there, and there was a complete doji on that chart, so that was definitely a no-no. That one you may have had a go at. 3 attempts. And what I like about it is it's picked off any prior liquidity there. So often, as we know, it'll clear that area before then traders are comfortable shorting that down again. It's just taking a bit of time. Well, the whole day is, to be honest with you. Okay, so it's hit that 57, so it dropped below that, them two, and that. I thought it might have a little bit more of a drop there. It didn't drop below there. Now, you may argue there's a triple test there. Trouble is, that to me is a channel down. And at the moment, that bar is still within it. So if you're treating that as a short-term trend channel, we haven't had a break of it. Now, sometimes it just don't make a bit of difference. Sometimes it'll just turn there. If there's enough buyers there, it'll just turn. But because we've spent 3 times going up, we may get a break out of this now. And not only that, we've made a double bottom there, but any liquidity that may have been there, buyers possibly holding on, is now gone. So this may come down a bit. It's kind of what we had here, wasn't it? We had this kind of, you may go triple test, and then we had this channel down there, and it just broke. It halted at the bottom of that line and then just continued down. Before then, we had 3 more attempts, so it may still come down. It's hard to say, but not the easiest day to trade today. So I'm more than happy not taking anything. It doesn't bother me anymore. But I would have suggested it's probably going to come down a little more here as we got that You know, here we've got, it's a little bit, you know, we've got kind of a couple of bar moves, but there we've actually got a little short-term trend pushing down. So my guess is it's going to get a bit lower. Certainly below here on this bar here, which it's looking like it's doing. That bar there cleared out any bit of liquidity here, so I'm guessing it's probably going to get lower. Having said that, you may say there's a channel down there with a break and a matching low, but I'm just sitting tight here. Mind you, what I will say is any of the bullish bars at the bottom here, that one, that one, that one, all worked. Even that bullish bar worked for a reasonable amount. But we've had one doji. We may get another one. So, yeah, it's just some uncertainty here, isn't there? I won't be surprised if that other one ends a doji. Yeah, so we got two dojis right at the bottom. In fact, those dojis are actually perfectly identical. Same top, same bottom, and same open and close. Okay, so we're going to get below this. I'm guessing we may. So channel break. Are we going to get a new low? So this is interesting. So leg, 3 attempts to push higher. Are we going to get a second leg down, which is going to break the overnight lows? That would make sense. Leg down, 3 attempts to push higher, and then second leg down. Another tick up and 2 ticks back. We'll get 3 dojis exactly the same. Go on, do that for me. Okay, now come back 2 ticks and we'll have 3 perfect dojis. No, damn. Doji dance. Yes, this is unclear now, isn't it? Oh, okay. Hello. So if we can get below these lows here, then I can foresee this coming down then for that second leg. Two more ticks. Two ticks and we might have a bit of a push. So there we go. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there, actually. I've had nothing today. Not an easy day today, FOMC day, as we know, and it's been super slow and just super choppy. There's probably been a couple of setups, not the greatest ones in the world, I think. I think that one probably wasn't terrible, 2 legs down. Trouble is, there's no room to the highs, that's the trouble. So it depends how you trade it. I mean, even to the tops there, there's 2.75, 2 points at best. So I don't really want to get involved in stuff like this, especially when you're going long into the top part of the lower top half, if that makes sense. So there's just no room really, and you never quite know what price is going to do. So it's a bit choppy. So not the easiest day today. So I'm going to leave you good folks to it. Best of luck if you get a setup. Keep in mind in about an hour and 40 minutes we've got FOMC coming out. So we may get some fireworks, and that's probably a lot to do with why it has been slow. There's a little bit less volume than normal. You take it easy, Karina. So I'll leave you guys to it. So good luck, have a great evening, stay safe, and I will catch you guys Thursday, tomorrow. Bye for now.